Hey guys, welcome to my exploratory video. This quarantine season, I've been on social media a lot. I've been watching a lot of shows. And yesterday I was watching You on Netflix, like finally. And there were like a couple scenes that like really creeped me out.
A guy needs to protect himself. I had to be sure you're safe. And your name was a glorious place to start. Not a lot of Guinevere Becks. And there you were. Every account set to public. You want to be seen, heard, known. Of course, I obliged. Born and raised Nantucket Island. A brother Clyde and sister Anya. Your parents really were assholes about the names. Your folks split when you were 12. Your dad dropped out of the picture. Went to Brown, where you majored in lit. Cool. And minored in douchebags. And then on to NYC to conquer an MFA and make your mark, presumably. Now, you still write. Barely. Too busy living out moments you won't remember 5 years from now. The next thing our little friend the internet gave me was your address. There it is, with its big, naked window.
So, I mean, obviously, like, he's crazy, but then in general, for this, like, video, I wanted to, like, talk about, like, the impact social media has on, like, our privacy, and thought I'd talk to a couple of my friends about it. Well, I'm here with Saddam today.
Hey guys.
And I wanted to talk to you a bit about your social media presence and thoughts on social media and, like, privacy. So, firstly, do you think you're fairly, like, present on social media?
I think I am. I use Instagram a lot, as well as Snapchat.
On these social media platforms, are you public? Like, are most of your accounts public?
Yes, I'm public on all my social media accounts.
So what are your thoughts on, like, being public, and what do you usually share on social media?
I feel like I try not to overshare. I usually would just post a picture of myself or me and my friends. I try not to do anything like too personal, like I don't do too much of like inside my house, anything that I think could be dangerous to me or anybody that I'm around. But other than that, I feel like I wouldn't say I'm the most responsible person on social media, but I wouldn't say that I do too much as well.
Okay, yeah, no, I get that. There's definitely like a balance. So as you are public, how do you feel about, like, you know, sharing your location and like stuff like geotags? Like, how have these things like impacted you?
I feel like with geotags it's trickier because when I first post my picture, especially if I'm in the location, I won't put my geotag up. I'll do it after I leave, just so that I'm more safe and I feel better about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like I started to do that a lot more after I was in an incident once when I had like a stalker, you could say, where he got some pictures of me from online, and he would just send them to me like anonymously and be like, I know where you are, like stuff.
Oh my
like
God.
that. Yeah, so that was kind of bad, so that kind of traumatized me a little, so I feel like I'm a lot more careful about it now. But at the same time, I feel like it's what you share.
Yeah.
So like you're in control of what you put out there. So as long as you're being careful and not doing anything too crazy, I feel like it shouldn't be too bad. But at the same time, I do feel like people need to understand that there are risks that come with having a public account, especially when it's public, because anybody can follow you and you have no control of who does what with your pictures after you put them online. So I feel like that can be scary.
Okay, yeah. And like, why did you decide to be public?
I feel like for me I think this is the same with everybody. Nobody thinks they're important enough for something to happen to them unless you're famous. I feel like nobody thinks like, because to me it's like, who's gonna stalk me or who's gonna come after me? So that was the main reason. But also I feel like with Instagram and stuff, they kind of trick you into it because there are some features that you get with being a public account when more people can access you. So that was my personal like reason for it. But at the same time, there's a lot more interaction when you're public too. So I would say Instagram is a lot more fun when you are public, even though it has a lot of burdens that come with it as well.
Okay, yeah, that's a really good reason. And lastly, you kind of got into this, but like,
has anything like creepy happened to you, especially because you're a public account? Like, do people, I guess like you can't control, like you said, like who follows you or who interacts with you. So is it like have you had any incidents like you talked about?
Yeah, so the one that I already mentioned
Mm-hmm.
has happened to me, and other than that, I've had a couple of times where people will take my pictures and we'll post them on their page.
Oh, what?
Yeah, or make it their profile picture. Yeah, I've had times where like people will DM it to me and say like, oh, do you know this person or
Oh
this
my
your other
God.
account? And I'm like, no. So it's
That's
weird to think that
crazy.
even though you're not famous or like,
Yeah.
have like even 2,000 followers, that people still do that to you. So I feel like, yeah, there have been times where I've had to report a couple of pages.
Oh my God, yeah.
They have my picture out there, so that's scary. And it also makes you think like, why me? Like,
Yeah.
why are you doing this? Like, and they usually follow your friends, which is kind of weird. 'Cause
That's
it's
so
like,
creepy. Like try to impersonate you,
yeah,
kind of.
and it's like my friends know my page though, so it's kind of weird. But yeah, it can be scary.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing like your insights on this.
You're welcome. Bye guys.
I mean, so far there have been a lot of cases with like celebrities and more popular people's privacy being violated due to social media. Like, for example, remember like 2 years ago, Kim Kardashian was like held at like gunpoint or whatever after she posted holding expensive jewelry and everything and like releasing her location on Snapchat. Robbers ended up coming, and this was due to her oversharing possibly. So with Kim, I mean, for sure it's definitely a different case because she is very popular and is likely to have like more stalkers. So I thought I'd talk to my other two friends that have kind of a different stance compared to Salam and see what they had to say on the topic.
I'm here with our reoccurring guests, Megan and Morgan.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Very well.
So I want to talk to you guys a bit about your social media presence and what you put on social media, as well as your thoughts on it as a whole. So firstly, what do you guys tend to share on social media?
I personally am a little bit more private. I don't share a lot unless it's like maybe like 4 times a year
Oh wow.
on Instagram.
Yeah.
I like to share more often than that, but usually I don't share like every single weekend or anything, but it's more like big events that happen in my life that I like to share with people, but usually like the details of my life I don't usually give out.
Okay, so you try to make it more like you limit the amount of content you put out.
Yeah.
Okay, so like are your accounts public, private?
Mine are private. Mine's private as well.
Okay. Yeah. And even if you are private, like who do you let follow you? Like
I only let people that I know personally follow me.
okay.
Yeah.
So overall, what are your opinions on like privacy and social media?
I think social media should have some aspect of privacy to it. I feel like a lot of people can see your information and use that information against you without you even knowing. So I think it's always good to be careful what you put out there.
Yeah, I know that like some like platforms such as like Snapchat and stuff use like geotags and like also share your location. So what do you guys like do about that? Do you usually share your location? Let's say you post to Instagram or something.
I don't share my location on Snapchat, but on Instagram, like if it happened in like a place where the photo was taken, then I like to share it.
Okay, but it would be like way after, like you're not
Yeah.
there. So up till now, do you think there was a moment where like your privacy has been like violated or anything on social media, or like by like you guys sharing anything like creepy?
Yes, I think Megan has violated me on several accounts,
Oh wow.
but I think it's like sometimes she'll post something about me, you know, but it's all in fun and games. I think for me personally, I made a blog one time for a class, and I had to put my number out there,
Oh wow.
and so now I get random calls from people, and I got, a video call of someone's genitalia.
Oh well, thank you for talking to me.
Of course.
So after talking to like both of them, I mean, they're definitely on opposite sides, but there's for sure a balance in like sharing. but there are some risks as well. It's definitely more likely for your privacy to be violated due to social media and like oversharing. But even then, like they were talking about, it is unlikely to happen unless you're like that, like very popular or like would attract like stalkers and stuff like that. But I mean, there are special cases as well. So overall, I think that, like I said, there should be a balance, and in general, I think it is kind of like scary to overshare, especially like your location. Like I know on Snapchat and stuff, people can have your location. I mean, it's good if it's just like people you know, but then it's kind of hard to be aware of that if your account is public. So there are definitely some risks and precautions that have to be taken. And I think in general, it's definitely like social media education and like knowing what each platform does or like what can happen. Because like I remember for a while I didn't know that my location was on Snapchat. Maybe I did turn it on, but I didn't really understand like anything about it. And there are like different options where you can only share with your friends and stuff like that. And I think it's really important to be aware of those options. So thank you so much for joining me. See you next time.